you tried using your Zig Clean Colour Real brush markers to colour in floral stamps? Well, today I'm showing you how to colour in this lovely orchid stamp by Avery L using my Zig Clean Colour Real brush markers to create a lovely vibrant card that's perfect for any birthday occasion. My name is Verity and welcome to my channel Pretty Little Button. If you're not subscribed already, think about hitting that button below. To start off with, I'm using the Avery L Orchid stamp set and I'm using all the floral elements within this stamp to create a birthday card. So I've positioned a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock into my stamping platform and I'm inking the stamp up with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, as the medium I'm going to be colouring with needs to use an ink that works well with water-based mediums, which the Zig Clean Colour Real brush markers are. In my stamping platform I have a little bit of a blank spot where I have to stamp it several times to get a really good impression. What I love about this VersaFine Onyx Black ink, it's a lovely, really deep, bold black ink that stamps really well. Originally I was going to just stamp the single pot of orchid, but then I decided I wanted to stamp the remainder of the floral buds and the other stem, as I wanted to create an additional orchid within the pot. Now I'm just showing you this one that I originally started using two darker pink colours and I felt that it was too dark for the orchid and I decided to change my mind. So I want to show that I do make mistakes. We as crafters do change our minds as we go along as well. So to start off with, I am just putting down some green colour onto the leaves. Now I'm adding the colour to begin with where I think there's going to be shadows, just to layer the colour in. The two greens I'm using are light green 41 and deep green 44. And then what I do is I start to bring the light green out from the dark green more to start getting more shadow, more depth and more dimension. And I'm just doing this on all areas, and I do go back between the colours and add some more of that dark green back over where it was, just to darken it up and get more depth and dimension. These brush markers blend lovely on Bristol Smooth cardstock, and you can use one colour to pull the colour out and start blending into your lighter areas. With lighter colours, when you're pulling the darker colour out with that pen, you may want to just scribble off the colour onto a scrap piece of card for a little bit, just to get rid of that dark ink if it's transferred onto the nib a little bit. The stem was quite easy, it's a quite thin stem, so it didn't take too long to colour. For the florals of the orchid, I'm using the 20 S Almond Pink and the 25 Pink. And I'm doing the opposite here. I'm adding where I want my lightest areas to be of the orchid. So I went on to Google and I googled orchids to get a rough idea of how the colouring on the petals looked. And they tend to have a lighter bit in the middle, a bit more of a lighter area around the outside, and then darker on the sort of more middle areas. And this is where I'm just blending the colours together and bringing that darker pink out into the lighter pink, just to get some depth and shading. Now this is where you can see that when I'm using the lighter colour, I just dab off the brush just on the scrap area, just to get rid of that dark pink when I want to go into my more lighter areas again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn some music on whilst I continue colouring in all these stamped images. If you want to skip this part of the video to where I start assembling the card, then skip to the 8-minute marker within the video. images were coloured in, I then used my scissors to fussy cut around the images. I don't mind fussy cutting too much, and I didn't find this stamped image too fiddly, too fussy cut, but I think in the end it does look really good on the card, having it cut out of its shape and giving it some dimension. So for the background, I'm using the Alt New Gradient Stripes die to die cut the background from some Nina Classic Crest Solar White card, and I'm just creating a card base out of a £110 cardstock. For the background, I ink blended using some blending brushes. These are some makeup brushes I've got off the internet, directly onto the card base. I'm using It's a Girl by Catherine Pooler, and as you can see, you really need to build the colour up, especially with light colours. It gives such a beautiful soft blend, allowing you to gradually build the colour up without any lines. So we're just speeding it up for you to see. And what I keep doing is just putting the gradient striped background over the top along with the orchid to see how it's looking, how is it popping, can I see it, do I need some more colour, do I need to move the colour in different areas. I also went in with a slightly darker pink of Catherine Pooler's I used Party Dress, just to give the centre of it a little bit more colour. And for a bit more added texture and detail, I'm adding some water to a bit of the ink. I just smooshed a bit of the ink into the lid, mixed it with some water, and then I'm picking that up with my paintbrush and flicking it onto the card just to get some paint splatters in some colour that matches the background. This just allows it just to pop a little bit more behind the gradient stripe background. To adhere that die cut, I am using Gina K Connect glue. This allows me to add very thin lines of glue, which is really important at the top of that die, and to adhere it down. And the liquid adhesive dries really strong when it's on, but when you're first putting it on the card, you've got a bit of wiggle room just to manoeuvre it around so it's straight. I foam mounted the orchid onto the card. I used quite a thick dimension of foam pads for the actual orchid in the pot. Then I adhered the stem directly to the card with some liquid adhesive, and I adhered the two remaining flowers with some slightly thinner foam dimension, so it gave quite a variation. For the sentiment, I heat embossed the Happy Birthday sentiment from the Ariel Orchid stamp set onto some black card, and I'm using the Honeybee Stamps Banner Builder Honey Cuts dies to cut the sentiment out straight. And then I'm adding a fishtail to the end by just cutting a small triangle into it. I adhered this onto the card with, again, the Gina K Connect glue, and then I'm just adding some sequins around the card in various places, and I like to position these in sort of 3 areas, forming a triangle to help lead the eye around the card. And again, the Gina K Connect glue is perfect for these sequins as it dries clear and is really a good strong adhesive. So I hope I've showed you how you can use your Zig Clean Colour brush markers to colour in a lovely smallish floral stamp such as this orchid from Avery L. And I've shown you how to add a bit of more interest and intrigue into the background with some soft ink blending and paint splatter, just to pop through that tone on tone gradient stripes die cut background. This project was produced as part of my design team work for Bumbleberry Papercrafts, an online UK stockist of a variety of American stamps and dies. I am given a selection of supplies to use in my posts, and you'll find in the description box below a link to a variety of supplies that you can purchase over at Bumbleberries. These are not affiliate links, however I like to support small businesses such as Katrina, so do check our website out. If you enjoyed today's project, why not check out this video, and I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel. Remember to hit that bell icon so you'll be notified when my next video is up. Until next time, happy crafting!